Once in a while we have a situation. I don't know if we have a Gontova situation, though. I'm still looking for it.
Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I'm not
So
seeing her, and
far,
she
I'm
would
not
be up.
seeing her.
So hopefully we'll see her later in the season. She must have scratched this morning or today for one reason or another. Um, but I'll look forward to that.
Men's
Looks like you
just,
got the guys.
yeah, they're just
Yeah.
getting going here. And here's that alleyway, and it looks like the first to take the front is going to be Gorani here with ZTBR, and it's going to be Pizza Boys right on the wheel, but Catanzaro comes with 14 watts per kilogram. The consistency from Next Esports trying to show themselves. Pizza Boys with Rednor trying to come over the top. Is he going to make it happen? No, I believe Scott's just able to hold on with Kilborn from Rule 5 right on his wheel. Are they going to roll through? It's always, I love how it opens up on this course just right from the get-go. Just a punch in the mouth. And feels a little bit like the knockouts we might have tomorrow as well, with the way that it just comes at you right away. I have a feeling that this is what it's going to feel like for 10 minutes of racing over and over again tomorrow. But they got a race in front of them still here today.
I couldn't agree more, though. This is a good prelude to that. So, Nathan, this is America's East for men's mixed. Is that correct?
Yes.
That we're in with now?
America's
Great.
East men's mixed.
Yep. So, yeah, you're going to see. So, obviously, the next team needs no introduction today. We saw Scott Catanzaro up there. He's been one of the usual suspects on that team. But it's nice to see Brad Greenberg, Jake Simons, Marcus Duval, Sean Berry, and Stefan Zavislav racing today for Next. So some new names to me there as well. So we've come to love the Next Velocio battle. There's a lot of other players in that. Teams you just mentioned, Pizza Boys. Good to see them stepping up out here. Chris Rednauer, Cody Hardley, Nate Klassen, and Naveen John, the Indian rider. Reese Edwards from Wales. When I say India, I mean the country of India.
The Pizza Boys, are they not in the top 10 with the way that they've been riding? I'm surprised to see.
Yeah, they made a big leveling up to join this group, so they're taking their lumps right now. They're learning their way around in a very competitive league. But yeah, you're right. Part of it is one of the Pizza Boys I have a personal connection with, so I probably talked about them more too a little bit than some other teams. You know how that happens, right? I'm guilty
at the same
of
time,
that.
though,
Yeah.
I really felt like they showed up a little bit, so I'm just surprised. Maybe there was just, they might have had a standout ride from a rider and two, and being a team competition. Sometimes you do get like a little highlight from a rider, and then the reality is, though, being a team competition, one rider can't carry you all the way through. So I wonder if that's maybe what happened there, or...
Yeah, no, that's a good estimation. So, Nathan, I'm going to double-check this fact. There's so many. Velocio, you could do a TV series about just going and meeting each person on this team. I'm a huge fan of Charles McCarthy. Really cool human being. And obviously, Kevin Bouchard-Hall was, I think, the biggest star to come out of Season 2 of ZRL. And a lot of that is personality-based and racing style-based. And Kevin deserves every accolade he gets. But today I wanted to focus on Ryan Atkins, the Canadian on this team. Ryan, I'm pretty sure, I'm sure enough that I'm going to say it, and I'll have to backtrack if I'm wrong, but has set the Everesting record for running. So, yeah, just stop and think about that.
What's with the runners? Like, doing all this ZWIFT stuff. No, I'm serious.
He is like your
I feel
Renaissance
like runners
man.
Are everywhere lately.
Awesome at Zwifting.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They seem like there's just something amazing about them and Zwifting. And, you know, Kate says lungs on a bike. And I have a feeling that's kind of what's happening with the runners coming on over.
Runners, rowers, cross-country skiers, and swimmers are all, you know what I mean? They are ready to go with the mitochondria. Oh, Velocio, right? Or excuse me. We've got some real action going on here right now.
Your boys,
so next,
pizza. It better be Hawaiian. It's not.
Corey.
He brought the meats
Scott.
instead. It looks like it's the meat lovers instead of the Hawaiian. Because
pizza squasher.
Scott's gonna make it happen. It looks like. Oh, Pizza Boys. No, it's gonna be OTR. Actually, I think that's David. Is that Amato? No, it's Eric. Excuse me, Pedro. I actually raced with Pedro the other day in the TTT. Great guy. 188 beats per minute. Came through with a solid last-second sprint. He might have got second there, but good job on Pedro from OTR with that kick to the line.
There's some teams here. Oh, let's see what we've got now. Just like
you see a lot of same color there, don't you, Dave?
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to come back together, though. Nothing to make of that. Nothing to see here. These are not the droids that
I saw what you saw.
Yes, it is. Look at this.
Saw too.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yep. So, okay. It's like watching a plant starting to sprout and come out of the ground. This is how you make a race right now. We've got action. Clearly, there's been regulators mount up going on out here. This is Ryan Atkins. We were talking about how strong this Canadian is. This man is uncrushable. And he certainly would be loving a day like today. Tailor-made for Atkins out here. So here we go. The thing about this group, Nathan, and these are the guys that you race with, a lot of them just don't get dropped. I mean, it is this such a high level here. You could go absolutely ballistic, but if they can stay in the wheels, you can't get rid of them. Unreal how deep they can dig, how strong they are, the level of racing we have out here, top notch.
See if we can bring in some points, and then we'll head back to some of the ladies racing. They are in a pretty chill section, actually. Here's how the things played out, and it is going to be next with Catanzaro here. Man, he is killing it so far. Pedro Ricardo is right there as well. As we have Rednar Pizza Boys putting himself on the map there, Dave. And it's been nothing but sprints so far between the men and the women's side of things. And actually, we have a little bit of a guest here to talk to us a little bit about the sprinting and how.
Great.
How you can get better, perhaps, at sprinting, coming in actually from the women's field. Maybe even racing tonight, or at least amongst these ladies or has.
Her sister-in-law.
Well, for sure, her sister. We know that she's here for sure. We know for sure that her sister-in-law is here with us. And this is going to be Liz Van Houweling. We appreciate her jumping in and giving us some coaching about how you can get better at sprinting out on ZWIFT.
Hi, my name is Liz Van Houweling, and I am a cycling coach of the Des Moines, Iowa area. And on this Coach's Corner, we are going to be talking about sprinting. Sprinting is super critical if you want to have success on ZWIFT. So many of the races tend to finish in pretty big bunch sprints, so we could all stand to improve our sprint a little bit. So a lot of times people think people with the biggest 10 to 15 second watt per kilo numbers are going to win every race, and a lot of times they do. But I would also not underestimate the importance of that 1 minute power. A lot of times the last kilometer or so of the race can get pretty spicy, so being able to survive that, to hang in there, and put yourself in a good position to be able to unleash that big 10-second sprint is really important. So one of my favorite ways to work on 1 minute power is to head over to Innsbruck on the leg snapper climb and do repeats of that. So you start off with just 2 or 3 repeats with pretty good recovery. You can even do the whole Innsbrucking short lap there. And just every time you hit that climb, go all out, all the way up it, and recover and do it again. And work your way up to 4 or 5, even 6 repeats with 4 or 5 minutes recovery. Work your way so you just go up it as hard as you can, flip a U-turn, cruise back down, recover a minute, and turn around and do it again and again. And try to work so that you can eventually stand up for the entire duration of that climb. It's not that long, and a lot of times people find it easier to produce higher power in the standing position. So just working on your extended standing climbing like that should help translate into a more powerful sprint as well. So I hope you can use these tips to help you get a much improved sprint and have better finishing positions in your races. And I look forward to seeing you out on the virtual roads of Watopia. Thank you.
Really appreciate Liz Van Houweling giving us some tips. And during the broadcast earlier, I said I really enjoyed that tip because something that I've found when it comes to training on ZWIFT is having that finish banner, having a point to aim at in the pixeled world is similar, for me at least, as to why racing and having another presence of someone else there against me pushes me further to get to that next that next point, and the resistance from the trainer. I'd say that too. But what I'm getting at is like having that finish point of that section. So using the Innsbruck ring leg snapper, it's the perfect distance for a sprint that she's aiming at. It's as long as she wants it to be. For me, for my peak power, that'd be perfect for what my sprint is, as well as when I'm going for a 3 to 4 minute peak power, and I'm trying to work specifically on that exercise zone within my body. For those that may be looking a little bit more in the coach's corner there, your body has different tools that it can use. One would be your quick, punchy sprint muscles. Those are very different muscles than your, let's say, FTP muscles that are your 20 minute to 1 hour, which are a little bit different even than your VO2 max, which are your 5 to 10-ish minutes or so. And so having those peak power numbers to go after with a segment that you go to that you can look back at over and over again to see if it's getting better alongside the peak power is getting better is such a great goal. And Liz hits it on the head there with how to really get a better sprint. I love the tips. And I wonder if Anna Russell's been talking to her a little bit as well. I know she's been talking to a lot of people, but we've watched Anna Russell, and Anna was the one that got Liz on. So I wonder if she's taking those tips to heart.
Fast twitch and slow twitch are the two type of muscle groups, right? That they used to joke that Taylor Finney was all twitch, that he had
He's got all the twitch. He's got all the twitch muscles.
But definitely slow twitch is just like Boston Marathon. That type of, that's hard to believe that's actually something completely different and special what you're seeing there. But slow twitch are the endurance, and fast twitch are the sprinter, the speed, the explosion. Yeah, absolutely. It seems, though, that in the modern day of racing, most riders have a pretty healthy mix of both, to tell you the truth. Most riders have there's not as much specializing, like a pure climber or a pure sprinter. These days, the sprinters can climb, the climbers can maybe more that the sprinters can climb a little more than vice versa, but I think you get my point. Taking a look at the group. So what really happens now is all hell breaks loose. The ladies have the country sprint to look forward to, and then the only climbing segment with points, the only segment where a bike swap is possible. Hard to believe we haven't even really talked about that very much, Nathan, but some riders have successfully changed bikes to get QOM points out here. That seems to be the depth of the tactic. It doesn't go all the way to the finish line for a win, but if you are designated for that role, you can do it here, but nobody looks to be trying to get a gap right now, and it comes up pretty quickly, the climbing, and this is really the meat and potatoes of this course as well. So you take a look at the group, see who's still around, because they won't all be here by the time they hit the top of Temple QOM.
Countryside sprint coming up pretty quick here, as you see the banner right there. Nobody making an early move, as you can see. Lots of points, and we said a little earlier, Dave, this is the last moment for the sprinters to really get, their peer sprinters, to get the most out of the course. So it's all hands on deck at this point for them, or else they are no longer of a value to the team. Moran's going to go here, it looks like, with Rathwell on the wheel. And Riot here with Fiona leading things out almost over Blushki. Blushki at 12 watts coming over the top. Christina Grossman. Blushki's going to just grab it, I think, there. Cassandra Rush right on the wheel. I think Grossman settling for second. Was that?
That was a sprint light. It was Jennifer Reel there. That was a sprint light, though. Normally, they're much more combative than that. With the reality now, it's interesting because it looks like everybody's racing big picture, not micro, breaking this course down into bits. Let's go back and take a look at the sprint. Riot doing what Riot does. That is Jen Reel there, just behind Christina Grossman going out very, very hard. Blauschke for OTR, however, really showing some talent there, getting up in the deep end of the pool with the Sharks. Guess Sharks wouldn't be in a pool, but so back to the peloton here. If they were, something weird is going on. But anyways, back to the group here. But that sprint wasn't quite as ballistic as they can be with this group. And I think a lot of that has to do with riders who want to be able to survive this climb. Some sprinters who want to make it to the finish today. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Not sure the points have updated just as of yet. As soon as they do, we'll go ahead and bring them up on screen to get an idea of where things stand before we do hit the Queen of the Mountain. Now, as you said earlier, we did have the risk taken by Schumann earlier, and we did see it pay off. Then we also saw Strasser try and do the same, though, in the women's West, and it did not pay off. So we've had, a 1 for 2. I'm not sure about APAC. I did not have time yet today. I got the ladies going for the stream this morning and went straight to bed to get ready for the rest of the day. Big thank you to Anna Russell for doing an awesome job with Kate Bates this morning, but I was only able to catch a little bit of the broadcast. I did hear rumor that there was some swaps, though, during APAC. What's going to happen here? Do you think that they're going to take what we saw from Gabriela and see something similar?
No, I do not. I don't think that with the size of this group, speed that they're carrying, and the fact that nobody has opened up, that at this point you'd be wanting to have a 10, 12 second, maybe push it out to 15 seconds, rather than if you make that swap. The fastest riders are doing it seems to be about 7 seconds
compared to the rest of the group, and can just smash.
So it's worth
the pedals. Because they don't think that they're going to get any sprints at the end.
Here's
right?
why.
That's the.
Here's why you don't. Here's why you don't. Because any rider in this group is going to be double dipping on points. It's a small enough group. You're going to get finish points too. And if you are strong enough, Nathan, to be able to make that bike change, get on a gravel bike, pass this group, get up there, pick up the QOM points at the top of Temple, and then change back into a regular bike. Because changing back onto your road bike, your fastest, slickest bike, is going to take enough time that you might not be able to rejoin that group as they go to the finish, and you'll give up a lot of points there. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a bird in the hand, 2 in the bush thing. You keep the bird in the hand now, knowing if you're that strong, you should be able to go top 10 in both of those scorings.
We'll see. I have a feeling we're going to see some swaps here.
Why? So why just take? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. It's always interesting for sure.
We'll wait and see. A rider like Rathwell. Now Rathwell has been going to the line though with her team quite a lot, but not winning the sprints outright. I think Fiona as well. Maybe. I just have a feeling that Riot have some things up their sleeves. WLC might take the risk. I don't know. Some of those standout climbing riders here. We don't have anyone who's like, in my opinion, at the very typically, like when you get to Watopia Mountain Premier Division, right? Reverse, when we saw Kolchinski, go with Moment Passio to the line in those top 10, that kind of do we have anybody here that's kind of at that type? And that's almost kind of what you need to pull off what we saw during EMEA Central. And I put Rathwell right there on the edge of that. I put perhaps Fiona as well, as far as just pure climbing goes. And I think those are the kind of numbers you need to really get something out of this, because Schumann did end up going to the line for the sprint still and walked away with the points easily, and actually could have got set up better if she did have a couple more riders with her rather than having to go solo. So we'll see, though. I mean, there may not be a swap here at all. It's a big risk. It's a huge risk, and you've got to deliver if you're going to go for it, and you got to be quick, because if you're not quick and you fumble, you're not just pedaling, right? You're done if you fumble on your swap.
With great risk should come great reward. Is the reward that great?
If you don't think you're going to get points at the end of the day, or you want to, so like bike racing is about rolling dice, right? And I like a 2-sided dice more than an 8-sided dice, and I think it's an 8-sided dice going with the pack if I got the talent to climb that well. So
going back to your point though, if you don't think you'll get finish points, yes, go for it. Well, these ladies all think that they can get finish points.
This is real.
But this is probably, if someone it looks like that. I would have to guess that Laura Perry must be planning on changing bikes with what we're seeing right now. So it looks like you are correct. Oh, well, we'll see, right? But certainly it's a good indicator that you're right.
Especially look at the bike she's on. That bike, too. That bike makes no sense unless she's going for a bike swap, right?
It would be the bike to swap, 100%.
Yeah.
And then swap back, too. Actually, we saw Gabrielle Schumann using 3 different bikes during the race. This was the bike that she basically finished on. Right, yeah.
Started
This
on
was
a Tron, right? Was that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
There it
This
is.
was her finishing, but yeah, she is
She's got
changing.
7 seconds. What's going to happen here? Oh, Jen Reel's going for it too. Jen Reel's going for a swap. We've got multiple swap situation here. That changes the whole name of the game, actually, with multiple swaps, because with 2 riders getting away, perhaps, will Jen Reel be able to go? And Jen is really on fire lately. She needs to make this happen now, though. A little bit of a bumble, perhaps.
Too bad. Not too bad.
It's only 15 seconds. We saw a larger gap go out for Schumann, so they're in a good position right now, but now they got to climb at 5 to 6 watts per kilogram all the way through.
So the swap went pretty well, I would say. An 8.5 out of 10, something like that for both riders. Certainly not a fumble there. Now they've got some work to do. What most people have been saying online, Nathan, is that swap should be good for between, let's call it 25 to 35 seconds. They should be able, so they're going to start about 15 behind that group. So if they finish about 15 seconds up, they probably made it worth it. Anything less than that, yeah, I mean, there's a little window there, and then probably not worth it when you get down to if they only have 5 seconds in hand. But if they get up there and get those points at the top of Temple and are able to hold on, make that swap and rejoin, that's the tricky part. That really is the sticky wicket there, is they have to be able to rejoin that group on the descent to be in the mix to get points. Okay, well, we got ourselves quite a storyline going there with the women's race. The men, they're on the dirt climb on the way to Temple QOM, and the guys just had a sprint there.
Yeah, Morse alongside an attack there from Velocio, and there was one other rider that went a little bit early. I'll get back into that with the replay in a little bit here. We got to stick with what's happening with the women. We'll jump in with the men here in just a second to see what exactly went down there, but really want to see what happens with this situation. Rathwell's been on the front just pressing the pace non-stop. As we go back here, though, Perry is still 8 seconds back, and this is what I was talking about, that you really need to have a next level of climbing ability. 5-6 watts per kilogram is the expectation for a bike swap. And Real here suffering at 3.94 watts per kilogram at this point. I'm not sure it's going to pay off currently. Perry is going to have to go flying by this group. She is going to make the catch, but it's not a 6 watt per kilogram, 20 kilometer per hour type catch here at this point. I'm not sure it's going to pay off to the level that they had expected.
She needs to make this worth it, she needs to do a lot more than just catch that group.
Exactly, and that looks like she's going to make the catch, maybe roll through them, but they might only just hold on to her wheel. And then, at that point, Dave, she's essentially...
She's on the wrong bike. She's in a gunfight with a knife.
Exactly, and they're just using her and her advantage to their advantage at that point.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So this is where, a tactic, I was saying. I thought the risk was a little high myself. You got to be able to back it up. And that was also kind of the counterpoint was, if you're so good that you can pull this off, well, did you need to do it in the first place? These riders are pressing now. They realize that this group is getting smaller and smaller. The gaps have opened up now where this might be a sub-10 rider group coming over the top of Temple QOM. Megan Rathwell is there. You predicted that one right, Nathan. Natasha Elliott, very strong today. Rush, Park, Moran, Mason, Blushke has been very strong, the Canadian. Cassandra Rush has gone past the group, is sitting in the front of the second, well, actually she's in no woman's land right now, between two groups there. This is Cassandra Rush of OTR that we're looking at.
Wow, Britt Mason is making the back of this group. That's impressive.
Big ride for Britt.
Yeah, because she is more of a pure sprinter. MTB, she's got a good punch here, and they've dropped off Grossman. If Britt Mason can make this front group,
she's the best sprinter left.
Exactly, exactly, and that's big points for WLC. And who do they have left? They've got Elliott up here. Elliott needs to really work for Britt, I think, at this point. Make sure that they makes it to the line with her, and rather than drop her. So just hold the Kaplan's wheel and get Britt to come alongside.
In the point scheme here, the Lionesses' share of the points are waiting at the finish line. So that is huge for them, especially when you've got a dominant sprinter type like Britt Mason. So that's really, really good for them. Points go deep, however. We're taking a look there at this group. The power-ups today, haven't had a chance to mention that, is the helmet, the van, and the ghost. The ghost is invisibility for 15 seconds. The van is a 30-second drafting advantage. Your draft increases, or the draft effect that you're receiving increases by 50%. And the helmet, that's all about your aerodynamics, just making you a little bit slipperier out there. Both the van or helmet, most likely what you're looking for the finale out here. The only points on a climb are coming up for the ladies now.
Looking through here, and Kaplan again pressing forward. You know, Rathwell, she is the type of climber that at this point I wonder if she's thinking, or at least I'm thinking, you know, I'm in and amongst these punchier riders. We need to get rid of Mason. They're doing it. Okay, now I'd be a little more happy if I were Megan at this point on maybe not making the swap, because I think she can sprint amongst most that are here at this point. And may be able to grab these points at the line. I do think that the points were up for grabs for Rathwell if she did make a swap. But there is the question if she could make it all the way to the finish line then still. Now Rathwell, though, fading a little bit, and Kaplan, it looks like, is going to be able to just grab these points solo. Perhaps. Does Rathwell have a punch? I don't think so. 3.7 watts per kilogram. She might have to settle, actually, for second, maybe even third. If Ul Moran comes on through from ATP, she's got the drafting power up. Kaplan's going to walk away with it. Can she hold off? 6.7 coming through. It's going to come right to the line for Ride, but Ride's going to hold on for second.
All right, we'll start tabulating these points. Again, climbing QOM points. There's some very specialist riders there. Then they have dropped the majority of the field. I don't know, Nathan, if you're familiar with, it might be an 80s thing, even a 70s thing, actually, called Scared Straight. It was basically kind of a, not propaganda, but it was a movie made to show juvenile delinquent young Americans, hey, don't go down the wrong path or this is what happens to you. So how did our bike swap riders do?
Yeah, at this point we've got, I think, at least out of what we have commentated on today, we're a 1 for 4, I think, is where we're at. We're a 1 for 4. 25% is where things are at.
In Vegas, you're going to the ATM to get more money with that kind of winning percentage, right?
Actually, you're right. Yeah. It's not too. I mean, it also depends. I mean, see, I'm a Texas Hold'em player, which is a little bit more skill oriented in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
So,
and you don't have to. You don't lose money as fast either.
If you bring the right skill set to the table, then you know how to play your pocket rockets. Okay, that's what's going on here.
That's right. That's a good point. Okay, Nathan. So best sprinter left.
Real quick, Dave. Dave. We got a lot of new viewers again, actually, over on Facebook. I want to say big welcome to everybody. Well, as far as our reach was huge, actually, over on Facebook today. Really want to appreciate everybody who's coming in, all the new followers. I mean, every second I see a new follower coming in over on Facebook. Welcome to everybody who's here watching ZWIFT Racing. We really appreciate you all being here. If you do not know what's happening and you think that these are just avatars being powered by people playing a video game with controllers in their hands, no. These are people on real bikes putting out real efforts with real heart rates in the upper left-hand corner. That power number is representative of wattage. You could essentially transfer that power number into a real weight that you would be lifting if you wanted to. But we measure in watts here in cycling, and that is how these avatars are moving forward, by real power, by real women and men out on course right now, well, actually in their living rooms or at home, wherever they are, in order to control these avatars and push them forward. Absolutely awesome. Most of them will be on smart trainers that will be also giving them the inclines and declines for the feeling of the game, and they are drafting off of each other. There is drafting in the game. There are pack dynamics, just like in real life cycling. So welcome to all the new viewers. Yeah, really love to have you here. And if you like the content, make sure to hit that follow button, subscribe wherever you're at, and leave a comment. We'll keep an eye out for them if you have any questions.
You could not have summed that up any better. It's incredibly realistic. A lot of these riders have what they call pain caves, where they've built up their almost like a Zoom room, but specifically for this. A fan is keeping yourself cool is critical. Overheating happens so quickly out here. This is a world called Makuri Island. It was an expansion world. It's Japan. It was released in honor of the Tokyo Olympics. The course we're racing on is Chasing the Sun. They start in Yokio, which is almost like a neon Blade Runner. Look at this now. I'm sorry, Nathan. I'm going to go back to the the men's race as Ryan Atkins.
I don't know what happened here. Chat, help me out. If anybody from the DS scene or anything, because we missed it. I'm not sure if there was a swap. I can maybe go back and look at the replay. I'm seeing Prado saying that maybe there's a swap, but I mean, they're so far up at this point. I'd be surprised if not.
Or are they that good?
They might just be that good. No, they might just be that good.
I think they're that good, to tell you the truth. Because, well, you know what? We'll find out because they are that good.
Look at these speeds, though, Dave. 28 kilometers per hour. I think they're on different bikes. I really do.
And so, okay, I'm going to trust your expertise on that, Nathan. We'll find out, but certainly if you think so, that gives me good reason to believe. But these are two of the biggest names. We talked about both of these riders at the top of the show. Scott Catanzaro, he's a legend. One of the most well-respected riders on a team that has been phenomenal when you talk about next and short. And then, obviously, the man behind, we were talking about Ryan Atkins, the Canadian, who is the true Renaissance racer. This guy in endurance sports can do it all. These two, Nathan, if there were any other two riders, maybe KBH you could throw in there, but that's his teammate. So, all good for as far as that's concerned. These two can absolutely stay away to the finish if they want to keep swapping pulls. Now, they'll be swapping bikes back, I assume, if they're on.
So what we think the replay right now to see if I can see if they came through the pack at one point, and if they did, I will show it. I'm going through some of the footage right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Nathan. I'm going to quickly say that you might say, what is he talking about? They're on their Tron bikes. Clearly they didn't change. Well, because of the way the game works, there's a possibility, and it's actually a good possibility, that we on this side won't see that swap. We saw with Gabrielle Schumann, who had 3 different bikes out there today. She started on this bike, a Tron bike, and when she swapped, we didn't notice her gravel bike underneath her, but we knew she had swapped. And then she went to the, was it the Vang 858? Here the Kappa lives right up in here. We might see the Kappa, which is crazy. It would fit with the way this race has been bananas. Small chase group coming together. Not that far back right now. That's Cassidy at, let's call it 6 seconds.
Look at him go.
Points here.
And with the fact that they're not opening up a bigger gap, I think they actually are on the Trons. Now that I think that because the gap isn't actually going out anymore, they would be traveling so much faster than the group. These are just two strong dudes, man. They're just that strong. They just really are, yeah. And Scott's
going to take maximum modification. It's going to be Ryan Atkins.
Third.
His teammate on Velocio. So Velocio is loving this race scenario right now. Things are really playing into their hands, even though Scott picked up the maximum points there. Second and third is more than just first, and Short will send reinforcements here.
Fifth.
Yikes. Well, go then tip it back now to advantage next. Although there's a lot of points to look at, and we will look at them, as this is a points-based league. Every team, that's also worth noting out here, the details of, this is the third race of this season. This one is got the most points on offer to the finish line. All the riders on the team, up to 6 riders per team, their points are combined, and then we sort out who the top teams are, but this is a jailbreak. Look at all of these yellow jerseys. Velocio is on a mission right now, Nathan.
Now, the question for me here, these two, 16 seconds, they're out of sight, but there's a large pack behind that is going to start forming. 54 kilometers per hour. We've got Barry and Cassidy together. They're going to back off a little bit and allow this pack to come back up to them.
Yeah, gap under 20 seconds. I think they stay away. If what's your thought? I think that these two make it to the line without being caught based on they're so strong and they're both going to be committed. That's my thought. And they both have kind of equal riders chasing behind them.
It's a razor's edge for me. And so, it's really a razor's edge for me. There's so many teams
looks like they're going to get caught now.
Well, these two are. These two, I'm talking about the two up front, though. Atkins and Catanzaro. These two have a 20-second gap.
That's who I'm talking about. There we go.
Yeah.
I think they make it to the finish line.
This is razor's edge for me. It depends on how much time and how well they use the downhill, whether or not they're able to really slingshot.
They're
This
both
is
so
going to
smart,
come
Nathan.
down. This is going to come down to how skilled they are at their Zwift craft, really, in my opinion, and also how.
I'm going to expect pretty skilled, wouldn't you? I mean, I know that there's a wide range there. Both of these guys they're both on really good teams, thinking man's teams, that they know what they're doing. They might not be wizard level, but they're close.
We were wrong, Dave. Were we wrong? Were we like totally wrong? I don't know
Well,
what's going on
I don't think
here.
that they changed bikes.
What
I
just
don't
happened?
think that they changed.
What just happened with Scott? Why did he do that? I have no
not a
idea
bike
what's
change.
happening. But he just lost 3 seconds for no
yeah,
reason.
no, I saw it,
no
right.
reason at all.
That might have been some kind of a micro dropout. That was, definitely not a bike change. They
I
did
think
not
he
change
was
bikes.
going to change his bike. I think that's what he was doing. And then he was like, uh-oh, Ryan's going.
No. Well, wow.
I think there was confusion. I think that was just confusion.
Okay, so now
Oh,
you're
James thinks it's a power drop. James thinks it's a power drop.
yeah,
No
I
bike
do
drop,
too.
guys. Scott just going full ham. Got it. So there was no
Oh my
thank you,
gosh.
James
I
Barnes.
was gonna say if we flip flop one more time, we'd be worse than Walter Mondale as far as
Well,
politicians.
okay, but thanks a lot. It's not our fault. It's not our fault.
No, I've said all along that they didn't swap bikes.
But I mean, okay, they're on it. Like we literally see a Tron bike, right? Like.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Well,
so, okay,
too bad for
Ryan
Atkins here
now-
because look, I mean, man, too bad because it was all there for the taking. I feel like, and
Or
Scott went
is it?
back.
Or is it? It's not over. This guy is the kind of guy that rides his bike across Canada solo in 7 days. I mean, this is a. I know I used
This
the term
guy, I
a fair
like how
amount,
you
Monster,
said it. I like
but
this
Ryan
guy.
Atkins-
This
No, I'm
guy.
In my conversations with Kevin Bouchard Hall, he speaks to Ryan Atkins as being one of the most impressive human beings that he's ever met. Kevin Bouchard Hall's met quite a few people in this sport, and
True,
even much
at
more
the
outside
highest
of the sport.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. And he looks at Ryan Atkins as that's who he is in awe of. I'm in awe of Kevin Bouchard Hall. So when you have your hero's hero, you got something special. I think he can still do it. I get it. You're 100% right, Nathan. So not raining on your parade.
But wait a
He
second.
needed Scott.
He's got 18 seconds still at the bottom of
went
the
up.
section where he's supposed to lose time.
Bananas. I mean, this is why we raced them all the way to the finish line, because if we just guessed, it wouldn't be that much fun. I think he's gonna
Dave,
do it.
I didn't think we could have better racing or
better-
as good of
me
racing
either.
as the
Me
day
either.
went on. And all of a sudden, we're almost done with the broadcast. I'm like, phew, it's been 5 minutes. No, we've been racing for 48 at least. Wow, this is such a good day of racing. I'm really impressed by the entirety of the community and what they're bringing to the table. Women are starting to open up their sprint. We do have some invisibility power-ups now. Open up. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going to happen here for their final sprint before the finish line. And it's Ulmaran here from ATP jumping with an invisibility. Blishki coming through from OTR. But I think OTR is going to come over the top, right to the line, perhaps past the Blossoms, and it is going to be easy, actually. OTR are just going to walk away with this one. I mean, she's just.
I don't
gone.
want to take your eye off the prize, Nathan. But I just had a chance to look at Ryan Atkins. He on Instagram is Ryan Atkins Diet, which is funny right there.
Yeah, I
He's got a
figured.
sense of humor.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
like,
and-
if that wasn't done, I'd be like, why wouldn't you take advantage of that, right? Like,
He's obviously not. He's not a salesman. Like he's not selling himself. But when you take a look at what this guy does, it is so he's Spartan world champion. Let me just start there, okay?
wait, well, let's go
Spartan-
back to Atkins in a minute, though. Okay, hold on a second. Kaplan's attacking. Okay,
I'm
And she's
sorry,
doing-
we're 2K
she's
away.
Doing,
2K
she's
away,
doing
yeah.
what Woody did in EMEA with the counterattack over that sprint that walked away from it. She learned her lesson here, but it looks like ATP is very interested in pulling this back in with
They've
one
covered,
rider.
yep.
Ulmaran is doing this on her own.
We've got a very select group going to the finish line, folks. It's been a slugfest out here as they chase the sun back into Neokyo. Small gap right here, but it looks like that's going to get shut down. Cover and kill, but Nathan, tiny group here. Sub-10 rider group going to the finish line. And they're 1.5K.
She don't care. Look at her. She don't even care.
She
And
should.
it just got. Okay. At 7 meters, they're still not on your wheel, and I just love the heart on Kaplan here because she continued on, and even after they got on her wheel, she
She's
still
not
don't
giving an
care.
inch.
No,
She's not giving an
she
inch.
goes right to 6 and says, "Do it again." Goes out to 5 meters. They no longer have a draft. Look at this woman. She is just a monster right now.
Well, and so this is, again, what we've seen today has been small groups with no definitive sprinter in that group. So it can be a wild affair. They've got her in range at 1K to go. It's been all heart out here. Oh, my gosh. I don't know how you come up with your heroes on a day like this. I think you just have to close out the deal, as that is going to be Natasha Elliott moving to the front for Wahoo Lacole. Let's see who can thread the needle here. Sprint clearly coming up now.
Yeah, they take a left-hand turn, and they've got about, I'd say, 500 meters from that left-hand turn or so. You can see the banner off in the left-hand corner there at this moment. Rathwell, Luschke, Rush is there as well.
Oh, Cassandra Rush is there.
No, sorry.
Oh,
Kay
sorry.
Kay Rush. I think
Yeah, there we
is
go.
the
Sorry.
difference there.
Yep, good job. My bad. Yep.
I
All
said
right.
it
Well,
correctly.
500 meters to go now. My bad, Nathan. So we got definitely another one of these interesting scenarios here, where these are the women that have survived an absolutely brutal 34.7K. Now we've got points to distribute. It's like handing out the pay packets, the ghost invisibility.
Ooh,
Can't
they
use it
saw
better
her.
than
You
that.
can't. Yeah, but they saw
Yeah,
it. They saw
what
her
can you do?
disappear, though, right? They know, and
Yeah.
this has been the OTR story. It's been Luschke all day long, but this narrow power coming from Rush from Crowgen over the top. She's gonna do it. She did it.
Mark gets
She
it.
did it.
Cryo. They've had a
Cryogen.
great day.
Nice
What a
job.
day for Cryo.
Nice job. Well, we're going to quickly here. We'll have one 5K to go hero. I think the whole of the women's field gets the 5K to go hero. But Ryan Atkins, though, with the walkaway here at this point. And, this kind of commitment, Dave, I mean, how can I not give this to him? I was going to say Scott, from Next Insured, he'd been attacking and taking a lot of the sprints. I feel like he played a very calculated game, though, whereas Atkins just threw caution to the wind and said, catch my wheel, and just dropped everybody.
Ryan Atkins is not really an athlete. He's a lifestyle. When you look at his Instagram page.
I mean, he doesn't even have
he's
glasses. There's
you-
no glasses. There's no nothing. No socks. No.
And look at. Do you see on the top row of pictures where it's for images for Ryan Atkins? He has, like, you know how they say a 6-pack? He's got like a 12-pack. Like this guy has just been obviously outside, and he loves outside too, which I think is extremely cool. It's not all show no go, it's all go. So it's form following function with Ryan Atkins. Nathan, he's going to do it. I mean, he's going to solo on. When he lost Scott, the next rider, Catanzaro, you had every right to say, oh, what a bummer, because Atkins' only hope would have been to have another rider with him. Not this guy. Not today.
Look at
this
the
is
speed.
something special.
70 kilometers per hour right now. This might close it down enough, actually. They've got the whole Next and Short team here sprinting right now. 13 seconds. This is going to come down to 10 seconds within the last 3 kilometers. Are they going to come over the top now? This is scary, actually, for Atkins. It's really getting on the edge here.
That was a sprint. Yeah, no, I agree, Nathan. It's going to be good. This was never going to be easy. It was nearly impossible. As when you talk about the chances, only a guy like Ryan Atkins or Scott Catanzaro could pull something like this off. So they surge. They lose riders getting dropped out of this group after that effort. More will fight back in. The gap has come down significantly, as at about...
Is someone going to throw caution to the wind? But somebody has to. They just have to go. Like, at this point, it has to be like, I'm in it to make the catch. I'm not in it for anything else, Dave.
Yeah, if they had sustained that sprint speed, Nathan, they would have brought him back very, very quickly. But
Next are doing the work. Next are doing the work.
They have to. It's all them. All the weight of the world is on that next team. And Zavislan is going to be the first. So how many other next riders are in this group? I'm a little surprised. Maybe they're getting caught on the back foot. Ryan Atkins is not backing down. Way to Canuck up, Ryan. Ryan Atkins, the Spartan world champion, one of the big names racing with us here on ZWIFT, is, I believe, Nathan, at 1K to go. I'm putting my money on this man.
Man, this
Canada.
Is right down to it. I'm absolutely loving this race here at this point. And it's 11 seconds. He's brought back 2 seconds now at this point. It's 1K to go. 1K to go. Next presented by Insured. Look at him. They've calmed back down. I'm surprised at this, actually.
He's gone. He's not coming
back.
And
maybe it's because they're like, look, why risk it? Get as many points out of this as we possibly can. It's only... It's a point, so right?
If Next went full barrel, double barrel, trying to chase this back, Velocio will flip that on
just
them.
And just
absolutely. Tai Chi all the points off of them. They'll use them against themselves. Ryan Atkins now is benefiting. It's gone up, and this is your champion on one of the greatest days in ZWIFT Racing League history. Season 3, 2022 in full effect. So this man wins 5K Hero. This man wins the race, and he's certainly going to win a ton of fans. Wow.
Amazing job.
I think for Velocio, this is their biggest win ever, Nathan. What happened here today, the way this all went down, beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there's been some hype about this pickup here for Atkins. Great job by him. Just a walkaway performance on one of the hardest courses you could possibly do. You know, when you win on a course like this, there's something special about it because you know the strongest survived here. But now, is it going to be Pedro to the line, making it happen for OTR? And I think...
Good job, Pedro.
I think Rule 5 took out the next with Team F3.
McCarthy
right
got
that
up
was
there
a really, That was a really close sprint, honestly. Really close.
Yeah, so Scott picks up some points. Scott Danzaro there, but Velocio is going to win the day. Not just based on the ride that we witnessed from Ryan, but I have a feeling that Charles McCarthy helping back things up. This is going back out onto the course.
I'm going to figure out what this is, to be honest. I'm going to really quickly figure out what we're even looking at here. Because this may be... interesting. I thought we were getting into Central, but I think we may have jumped into the B category for...
We've got Kate Bates coming up here a little bit later. That's West, though, isn't it? So,
yeah, I just wanted to jump into Central and say hello to them for a second, if we could. And we're going to see if maybe we can do so. But we are having a little bit of trouble jumping across to them. Everybody, I do know a lot of people where I did see we do try to do a bulk of the coverage on one or the other because they happen at the same time, everyone. And we do hear your requests to make sure we cover as much as we possibly can. As we do jump in, I do believe, though, since we do have Banky in here, that this is going to still be one of the East races that we are in with. I believe this is America's East Division 2 is what we're in maybe not. I have actually no idea. No idea. And we'll have to give some feedback on tools so that we get IDs around the races. AAVC alongside a TFC and the Peddlers. I bet you somebody in chat's like, I know exactly who this is, with the BMTR Grizzlies and some others. But I wonder...
14,000 racers in the ZRL with the A's, B's, C's, and D's, and they've been adding new divisions. It's been just such a success. As far as endurance sports goes, I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. Congratulations again to Martin and Steven and WTRL, who have been the masterminds behind developing this whole race format, and certainly community racing. This is where they love it. You know, having all these points and fastest through segments. Martin was always talking about looking to get every rider something to fight for out there. And this course, We've had three very different races out here for the first three. We had our classic team time trial. The first race was a straight up scratch race where all the points were at the finish. There were no bonuses, no fastest through. And then back to what made community kind of famous, or what they're known for, was what we did out here today. And I have to say, it all works. You know, it really is like, which do you like more, the red chili or the green chili? It's like, I like them both a lot. So what I like is having a chance to mix it up, not having the same thing every race. And I think that maybe is the way we'll see things go forward.
Doing a couple of searches here real quick. And Neil Hurst.
So this is, if it's Larry Hughes, this
Neil
A's.
Neil Hersey's going to help us out here. He is a B category racer, racing out of the America's East Division 2. That's America's East Division 2 is what we're looking at here right now. Kelly from BMTR.
You can always
right
send folks to WTRL.racing. That's where all the data is stored, and you can find information if you want to. If you're watching and you want to get into racing yourself, you can do so. We race on Thursdays with the team time trial, and WTRL.racing is where all the results are as well. All league information. That's the clearinghouse for sure. And you get a lot better feel for how the point structures work too. These guys are 2K from the finish, so it's exploding out here as Latapi of the BMTR Grizzlies taking a nice advantage, channeling his inner Ryan Atkins now. The French rider for the Grizzlies. I don't think they have grizzly bears in France. I don't think Grizzlies ever swam across the Atlantic. I guess they would take the northern route, right? Go across Iceland.
It's a nice little battle here, though, for a top 5. Are any of these guys on the same team? I don't think so. Good to see. Kelly, is that
Zed's
Team
son.
Wisconsin? That's not Team Wisconsin. I see a WI in there. Is it? It's got a Canadian flag. Representing.
Might commute.
Badger State in the house, Kelly. Love to see it if it is.
All right, looks like these guys, they brought it back into the fold. These small group sprints outside of a few breakaways today. They've been generally the story. I don't think we've seen a group larger than 20. You remember a group larger than 20 going to the line today? It's possible in Europe, Middle East, in Africa, men's central, we might have seen 25.
I think you're right though, Dave. I think you're spot on. We've had it's nothing but small groups, which tells you
Smaller
how
than
difficult the
normal.
race. Yeah, it tells you exactly
for sure.
how difficult the racing has been.
That's one great indicator. And it also shows me how the racers have made a race out here. We gave the 5K hero to Ryan Atkins. For this race, it's this race, actually. It shows you how fast they were going.
Yeah, we'll just
there.
watch these guys sprint as we do have them on, and then we'll get into, this is the after party show before we get into the results as they were just populating. And then in about an hour, a little under an hour from now, Kate Bates will be coming on for America's West. Early jump here coming from Ziegler from AAVC, coming out of the US of A. They don't actually know. They actually don't know, Dave. That's the first time I've seen the invisibility catch them out. That was perfectly timed. Jordan now says, uh-oh, where did he go? Well, he's off the front, and he's got 3 seconds. I don't think that's even possible to bring back. Ziegler's made it happen.
Ghosting has gotten a bad reputation in the American dating scene, but that was a good use of it right there. Bringing ghosting back is Ziegler.
Ziegler's
You don't want to
ghosted the
ghost
pack.
people. Right. I guess that it also could happen in a job scenario. That's going to be top points out of that group, so you can't do better than that. Team Wisconsin, we're assuming.
The
B.
top
Kelly.
8 for that 4th place, but did grab the early points, followed up by DeToni. We do have a couple more pizza boys, Dave. Look at this. Trying to sprint for
Larry
9th.
Hughes, a
7th.
man out of Columbus, Ohio. Larry Hughes is a great dude.
10th place, it looks like, for Hughes. Nice job. Nice job.
He earned his pizza. This is, yeah, absolutely. Go order a pie, Larry.
order by.
So that was the bees that we were watching the finale of there, Nathan. A great, wow, that was fun to watch. And how about Ryan Atkins? He's going to pick up a lot of Instagram follow. I hope he's going to pick up a lot of Instagram followers. Let's take a look at some of the results. This is going to be our A's for the women, America's East Division 1, and it was Renat Blushka taking the win for the On the Rivet Cinderellas. She did her work out there, and yeah, well earned. She closes out the deal. It's a few Americans in the next 3 spots here. It's Cryogen Gallopin, has Catherine Roosh. It's, you know what? It's Rush, Nathan. You got it right. That was my bad earlier because there's an American racer named Rebecca Rush, and that's Catherine Rush. You're 100% right. Meredith Moran there in 3rd. Shannon Kaplan taking 4th for Sisu Du. It was ATP Racing Stingers, the team for Meredith. Megan Rathwell, the legend, Riot Rider, up there in 5th. What's different here is you don't see as much Riot in the top 10 as we've gotten used to. Judy Ann Park, Cryogen Gallopin in 6th. Natasha Elliott for Wahoo Lacole Americas. She's 7th. And then her teammate Britt Mason. Britt had a great day for Wahoo Lacole. Riot with Christina Grossman. Look at that. Christina ending up in the top 10. So becoming much more than just a sprinter. 9th going to Cassandra Rush without a C there on the Rivet Cinderellas. So they sandwiched 1st and 10th there. See that it was very competitive, and it will remain competitive heading into race 4 of season 3, 2022. Back to you, Nathan, for the bees.
Real quickly, I just want to highlight this.
Oh boy, tied.
Well, done to both Wahoo,
so Wahoo
Lacole and Riot.
moved up. Yeah, both
no,
of those
they were
teams
one.
moved.
They were number 1. They were number 1 coming in. Yeah. And then
I thought Riot was more like 3rd or 4th coming in. No?
No, they were number 2 for sure. Yeah, they were number 2. I have it up on.
Oh, maybe it was just that they weren't winning. That was what it was.
38, 37. ATP Racing Singers were 35.
So Riot must have won tonight.
Were 34.
Riot must have. Yeah, I'm thinking Nathan Riot got the 20 points then because I thought they started with 37. So they must have ended up winning the day on points. Yeah. Here. That's interesting.
Sisu Royal City moved up a place, it looks like, as well. So, yeah.
All right.
This is the situation. It wasn't tied. Riot was in 2nd. Now it's tied. So Riot have had a really good day. The Cinderellas, they move up to 3rd. ATP Racing Stingers, they're tied for 3rd. Cinderellas were in 4th. So that's the situation as it stands. Back to the results. We'll take a look at the Bs. And in the B category for the women's racing, Nicole Jurish comes on through. Nice job to her from Wahoo Lacole.